This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to again be joined by Andrew Kinsey, Allianz, to discuss strategies for the maritime industry to address global challenges. Andrew, emission reduction initiatives are obvious top-line agenda items for any ship owner or operator. To start, can you put in perspective the current situation regarding greenhouse gas emissions from the global maritime trade?
Well, it's obviously a hot button topic, and it's something that needs to be addressed. And unfortunately, as a result of the current headlines with the stacking of ships and the delays in ports, it's just highlighting the importance that from a maritime perspective, we need to have our best foot forward. And unfortunately, many of the current headlines are not reflecting that.
The maritime sector is often slow on the uptake of new technology. Is this the case too regarding emission reduction technology?
Unfortunately, yes, in many regards, because we have to realize that the steps we're taking now with alternative fuels are not the final steps that need to be taken. We need to get on top of this and start looking at alternative fuels. However, that will only be a stopgap measure for the IMO guidelines that have been published for what we have to meet. So while it's going to seem like a big hurdle, we're going to take it in steps, but whatever the alternative fuels will be in the near term, it'll just be that, not a long-term solution.
Excellent, Andrew. And again, thank you for that insight. So you just referenced the IMO. When you look out the porthole today, what is coming in the next 12 months on the regulatory front that all ship owners should be aware?
Well, we have more acronyms coming. If there's one current or one you know constant in life, it's an acronyms. And the ones that we'll be getting used to right now is SEAM, the Ship Energy Efficiency Management Plan, which will be coming to force. And then hand in hand with that is the EEXI. And these are all regs and initiatives that are based around, first of all, capturing the current footprint of the vessel, and then seeing how the operations, and this is going to be key, how the operations of that vessel impact its individual efficiency and greenhouse gas production. So it's not a fleet-wide initiative. This is going to have to be tailored to each individual vessels.
As you know, regulatory pressure is one thing, public pressure is quite another thing. When you look at the climate today in regards to ESG, environmental, social, and governance, what do you see?
I see a landscape that unfortunately is not painting the merchant marine in a very good picture. While I do see some steps being taken to address it, I also see what appears to be some reactionary efforts, I guess. But whether we're talking about the current incident regarding the Merchant Marine Academy and Midshipman X and what needs to be done and what's not happening fast enough, all the way to the most current appointee for the MARAD position with the admirals coming on board. While some of these may give us guidance and solutions, in many cases, it seems like we really are seriously shorting our industry with the guidance and the representation that it needs.
As you may remember, at the end of 2019, all the talk in maritime centered on IMO 2020 and the dramatic reduction in sulfur content in maritime fuel, with there many questions focused on fuel availability and quality. Then COVID hit and IMO 2020 was brushed to the side. Looking back, can you discuss the real impact of IMO 2020 and the new fuel rules on maritime?
Well, those real impacts continue to be felt. One thing we have to realize is that in the second and third quarters, we had a lot of the fleet stacked, cold stacked throughout. So they weren't burning fuel. So as far as bunker supplies, they had a chance to catch up. We're still seeing the rise of scrubbers, and we're going to see that to increase as we're looking at our crude oil prices rising. It's the other thing we were seeing. We've seen a record low, and now we're starting to see North Sea and West Texas Intermediate rise on price per barrel. As a result, we're going to see an increased cost in the low sulfur fuels, which will give rise to more scrubber installations. The other thing we've already seen is that we have seen a rise in claims. As a reduction in the sulfur content leads to a reduction in lubrication, you then need a corresponding increase in your lube oil settings. And we have seen advanced wear, we've seen liner failures, and we will continue to see that, especially as that price of the highly refined fuels and the price of lubes go up.